Hey, there we go. Sometimes it takes a few seconds to connect, and if I talk too early, you won't be able to hear me. And for those of you that may be watching on the playback, I just need to give it a moment to let some people come in. Oh, hey, Kelly. It's funny you're here, and it's still saying that there's 0 people in. Hey, Jane. Let me get it up on the computer. I'm going to change it from top chat to live chat. Yeah, it's still only showing 1 person. I should be showing Kelly, Jane, and my iPad, so it should be showing 3. So, yeah, obviously YouTube is glitching again. What's new? Oh, gosh. This has been a rough day, let me tell you. And I'm going to try, please, let me try to keep this one short because I've already just, I've had a rough day. Will things ever go well again? Although I did have one good thing happen today. I got another piece of baseball mail, and we can talk about that later. So there is some positive, to report during this day. I gotta move this over so I can see the computer chat. Hey, Kellyanne. Somebody messaged me last night on one of these videos, commented, and their name was also Kelly, but Kelly with an EY. So we have Kelly Ray, Kellyanne, and Kelly Alley now. Hey, Hearts, how you doing, honey? I know you've been going through a rough time, but I'm so glad to see you. Hang out for as long as you like. Oh, yes. Hold on. I'm trying to check to make sure that the computer and the phone are the same. 23 people. Wow. And it's only 2 minutes into it. That's a good sign. Let me get started. I'm April Davis PI, and it is March 24th, 2026, and this is day number 52, sadly, of the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. And, oh, hey, Gabriel. Thanks for coming in. Everybody, if you're watching, I hope you're subscribed. Please hit that like button, smack that thumbs up, give me some red hearts. Helps the algorithm bring people in. Let me just start with what's in my thumbnail. I called 1-800-CALL-FBI today. I'll say it again. I called 1-800-CALL-FBI. Oh, you're from Brazil. Welcome in from Brazil. I have a few other people that watch from Brazil. Okay. I have had experience with the FBI in the past, years ago. Some of my PI cases where LAPD couldn't handle things, and then it escalated to FBI, and of course they botched everything to heck and back. And I did really call the FBI, the good JR investigator. And like I thought, it was a waste of my time. It was a complete waste of my time. If you don't know where she's at, whether living or deceased, if you don't know where that body is, they are not going to give you the time of day. And when you call, you have to give a lot of information before an actual rep comes on the phone through an AI system. And it's crap. It's our government, but it's crap. They couldn't even understand the name Davis. They couldn't understand where I lived. You have to give your first name, then your last name, then your zip code, then your street. They get the city wrong. They couldn't get Davis. And finally, they're just, instead of letting you try again or spell it out, they move on to the next. So when you finally do get a person on the phone, you've got to spend the first couple of minutes, clarifying your identity, correcting your address. And I didn't even take the time to complain like, hey, your prompts don't work. Hi, Ahmed. I just went straight into what I needed to say. And I have a person's name that I just think uh, is a suspect, somebody that needs to be looked at. And if this is not somebody that I know personally, or I'm not in Tucson and I absolutely know this to be an absolute fact, if I'm just someone in another city, it doesn't mean a thing. If I'm just putting this case together because of things I've heard on the news, well, then I'm just dirt. Anything I know means nothing. And a friend of mine had mentioned in person to me, when you call, make sure, she told me this like 3 times, make sure you tell them that you're a private investigator. I don't think that mattered at all. Um, I've been working cases for 42 years. I know how it goes. You get a case, you start your investigation. First, you get your intel, then you get your list of suspects, and then you start figuring it out through process of elimination. And eventually, you get one person that's involved in a group, and you have that person apprehended, or you detain that person, or you meet them at their work or their school or their house, and you read them the facts of life. Like, this is what's going to happen, and you're going to go down for this. And, you seem like a nice person, but you're going to go down for this unless you can provide us information about who else is involved. And then they'll roll. They'll cry and they'll, oh, I'm sorry. And they'll, it's not like TV where everything is solved in, 40 minutes out of a 60-minute episode. It's not like that. You have to do the work, and it can take days, weeks, or even months. But I know how to run a case. And I also, even though I don't like the Pima County Sheriff's Department, they did mention something to their locals, like, hey, if there's, maybe you didn't see something, but maybe there's something that's happened since the crime where somebody didn't show up to work, or somebody suddenly left town, or this person doesn't leave their house anymore. Somebody that you routinely deal with, something's changed all of a sudden, even within your own family. Hi, Jewel. Hi, Terry, or Terry Lynn. There's just, oh, hi, Brahim. Hi, Rita. There's some certain things that can stick out after the fact, and not necessarily a piece of evidence, or you saw a car, or you've got a license plate, or you saw a suspicious person, but something didn't add up about somebody after the fact. And there's somebody here, and I'm not going to name this person, but there's already been conflicting information about their whereabouts, about their employment, about certain vehicles that they may or may not be connected to, and statements that have been made that can be proven that are lies. And you get all these people that are somehow directly or indirectly connected to some of the top characters. I say it, the cast of characters in this play. There's certain things that at least need to be excluded. And we as the public, like I said before, this is a 500-piece puzzle. We maybe have 5 to 10% of it. It's hard to put a puzzle together with only 25 to 50 pieces. But as a PI and 42 years of experience, 35 full-time, including kidnappings, including murders, including missing people, there's one individual that I think they have evidence on that needs to be looked into a little deeper, even if it means that their agents, like 2 of them, will have to get on a plane and travel somewhere. Get off your ass, the FBI. After today's call, I am very not hopeful that this will be solved. I always said this will be solved. Now, unless they get a DNA match, I don't think this will be solved, because if their agents are anything like the people that are answering their phone lines, this lady kept interrupting. She wouldn't let me speak. She was argumentative. She was rude. She typed the information into her screen. I know she needs time to type, but she was reading from a script. And I did get the name across, and I did get the location as to where to find this person across. But because I am a member of the general public and I've been able to figure this out, partially figure this out through what I've been hearing, like all the rest of you have been hearing this just through the news or the internet's loose, and a lot of the information is wrong. We don't know everything that the FBI has or that the Pima County Police Department has, but they're not getting anywhere. It's day number 52. And even though I cannot prove that my information is important, it keeps gnawing at me. And you guys here and my friend was like, you need to make that call. And I thought, even if it just makes me feel better because I made the call, remember what Savannah said this week. You may have a piece of information that you don't even think is important. Like it could be something so little. And don't hesitate to make that call. Don't hesitate to come forward. So I made the call. And I don't feel better now that I made the call. I feel like I wasted my time. Now, in the future, if this case is solved, and this Yahoo that I've added to my list of suspects is somehow connected in any way, I'm going to have evidence that I made this call. So I'm going to stay right here in day number 52's video. So all of you that are watching, 20 people are watching, can hear me, that I called the FBI today from Los Angeles at 1:52 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I was only on the phone for 11 minutes. Most of those minutes was busy speaking with an AI robot that couldn't understand a thing that I was saying. Hi, Boston Bill. If their investigative unit if their special agents are anything like the Yahoos that run this phone line, this case will never be solved. And I never thought that the whole time, like this case will be solved. It could be months from now, weeks from now, years from now. But I always thought that this case was going to be solved. But I know they weren't even recording the conversation because I deal with law enforcement. I have dealt with law enforcement throughout my entire career. And sometimes when you're not in person and you're on a phone, because we're in a two-party state for consent to be recorded, they have to tell you this call is being recorded, or they have to ask your permission, or they have to say before you start talking to somebody, this call is going to be recorded. And while you're talking to them, every few seconds, you're hearing that beep, beep, beep. And they didn't say any of that. There was no beeps. There was no, this call is being recorded. So basically, whatever I said, there's no way to document it other than what this lady wrote down. And I couldn't record the conversation because I don't know where this woman is answering the phone at. If she's in a two-party consent state, I would need to ask her to record the conversation. So absolutely, Boston Bill, you nailed it right on the head. You hit the nail on the head. That said, seems they don't care. This lady couldn't give an F who I was. I didn't talk about my experience, but because my friend was like, make sure that you start the conversation and tell them that you are a private investigator. That meant nothing. If I didn't know where to go find her, then my call is not worth their time. At least she did type the name, but without knowing why. Now, she said, if we need to have an agent call you back, we'll have an agent call you back. Then I can take the time, even if they have to come meet me or they want to do a Zoom or whatever, then I can say, listen, this is why I named this person. I don't think it's one person. There's multiple people involved in this, and there's a ringleader. This person is definitely not the ringleader. This person is one of the lackeys that's involved. Okay? This person's just getting a paycheck to go conduct part of this operation, and that's it. He's in, he's out. He's no longer even participating in the group. He's just one of the hired workers. He's one of the laborers, I guess is a better way of putting it. And there's no way I can prove it, but there's a lot pointing in his direction, and I can't say why. So I just can't talk about it publicly. Like I know a lot of you have been asking me to do a live series on the JonBenet Ramsey case, and I absolutely can't without laying out exactly what I think happened and who's involved. And I mean, I know more about that case than I do Nancy Guthrie, and I've been going live almost every single day. I'm not going to name this person. I'm not going to say why I think they're involved because that would reveal too much. But if an arrest does come in the future and this guy is involved, if I have to reach out to somebody that I personally know to call Savannah Guthrie to say, listen, April Davis contacted the FBI on this date and this time, and she put this guy on the suspect list, because I want to be involved in at least a part of the reward if this guy is involved. Absolutely. And I had it figured out in under 2 weeks without anybody else's help. There was something that this piece of the puzzle has never fit, but I don't know all the pieces. That's why I waited so long. But it's getting to me. Because, and this is stuff that a good investigator should have already been able to see. Maybe they have checked this angle out. But, you know, I was born with the spidey senses, and sometimes I can see things through a different set of eyes that other people are just dopes. And they're like, well, how do you know? Like, you know, when I used to work all these celebrity cases, especially the stalking, I had to be very careful about what I said, especially if I knew stuff before it happened, because they would be like, well, how did you know that was going to happen? Like, you know, I didn't want to look like a suspect, but, you know, I just had to say, well, you know, sometimes my crystal ball is on and sometimes it's not. And so they would, you know, come to me when they'd be like, well, we have this situation, and do you think this is going to happen? And what do you think we should do? Because, you know, you can see these things, you know, like, and I don't know how I do it. I just do it. I'm not a psychic, but I don't understand why I see things that I think everybody else should just see. Like, if you have half a brain, this is obvious. And this person has already come forward and made statements that are lies, that I can prove are lies. And if you lie to me once, you'll lie to me twice, you lie to me thrice. Okay? That's just the way it works. When people are out there making statements, whether it's on the news or it's online or it's on the internet or it's on Instagram or Facebook or X or Threads, and they're making statements that don't add up, and I'm like, that person is lying. And this person has been pretty hidden throughout most of this. This could actually be the person that is the masked man at the door. Could be, could not be. But something's fit, and I can't explain to you why. And they wanted to know why. You know, well, why do you think, you know, and before I could even say, they kept cutting me off every time. So back to square one. Thank you for being supportive of me, but calling the FBI was a total S show. I have to be careful what I say because I'm getting closer to my monetization, maybe, or at least I'm getting closer to the hours. They could read that application once I'm able to do so and go, you know what? We don't like this person. She's gone. Then I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because I just want to get monetized and make enough money back to pay myself off for all the expenses I've had since December 2020. I don't want a dime extra. I just want to be able to pay myself back and then go, okay, I broke even and now we're done. Have I talked about this person on other videos? I just started to watch the replay. I really can't say that, Kellyanne. I'm sorry. Our leader doesn't like Savannah. Jewel, that's a good point. And are you aware, Jewel, that our leader supposedly made a phone call to Savannah Guthrie saying that the federal government is willing to help? And I thought, I thought he despised her. And now all of a sudden he's like, oh, we're here to help you. That's very suspicious to me. This is much bigger than any of us realize. There's a lot more to this. than I ever thought. Let me back up on the messages. Thank you, Kellyanne. Boston Bill says worst law enforcement in history of flubbing a case. Oh, do you mean the FBI or the Pima County Sheriffs or both? So in other words, they only want information of where the body is. Basically, yeah. And I know that, the first week they had like 30,000 tips or something, but it's 52 days into it. I know that the Pima County Sheriffs announced, was it yesterday or the day before, that they've already closed their tip line. They have closed their tip line. And so now if you want to call, you got to call the FBI. And they're probably still getting quite a number of calls a day, but probably this many compared to this many before. So you would think they might be able to spend a couple more seconds. It took 11 minutes of effing around with their AI and dealing with this woman who was rude and just disrespectful. And I never was rude or disrespectful. I was very professional, as I would be as if I were working the case. Argumentative. Maybe she needed to go out on her smoke break. Nothing was being recorded because they can't record me without my knowledge. After that phone call, I just almost wanted to cry because I thought, oh my God, this is just like the old days of dealings that I've had with the FBI, and this is, even with all their technical stuff, this is never going to be solved because, solving detective cases is nothing like TV. That's why a lot of people in the general public, they don't even like PIs because they're like, they think it's what you see on TV and we're committing felonies. Like there was a show that was produced by Michelle Pfeiffer's husband, and it was called Snoops. And in that show, I never watched it. I don't watch PI shows, but it showed PIs committing felonies every 11 seconds of film. It was all for show. The entire PI industry wouldn't watch the case and boycotted Disney and ABC because of it. And everybody said, boy, if Michelle Pfeiffer ever gets in trouble and she needs our help, nobody's going to come. I think her husband's name is David Kelly. And people in the PI industry hated that man so bad. It's kind of like the families of the Vietnam vets, how they feel about Jane Fonda. Whether you like her or you don't ever talk to anybody in the military that's been to Vietnam or had a relative that fought in Vietnam, and don't bring up her name in the same sentence because they effing despise her. And that's how we feel about David Kelly and as PIs. And if he's married to Michelle Pfeiffer, then, we don't like her either. And she's probably a very nice person. They're close personal friends with some of the biggest people in the industry that I've worked for years. But it's not what people think. The first thing everybody says is, how many people have you shot? Well, a PI can't carry a gun in LA County when they're doing PI work. Have you ever been shot? Tell me about the cheating spouses. And I'm like, well, I don't do that type of work. I can, and I have a couple times, but that's not my special. Well, what do you do? Fraud and entertainment. And they're like, entertainment? What does that mean? Like, people that are not if you're not a lawyer or a claims adjuster or a claims manager, a large CEO or CFO of a large company, or someone that needs security on their own PI, the general public, even educated people, they have not a clue because it's what they see on Magnum PI or what they've seen in the movies. It's sad because people are like, oh, well, that's kind of on the sketchy side, and people think of you guys as scummy. And anytime that I've ever had to deal with law enforcement, like on a case, and I've had to pull out really fast, or one time I forgot to turn my headlights on, or I'll be coming out of court and like, hey, let me pull you over, like, and then they see, well, what are you doing in this neighborhood? You're really far away from home. Like, oh, I just came out of court, or I just came out of the police station. Oh yeah, well, what do you do? I'm a PI. And then they're like, you're a PI? Like, can I have your card? I can't even count the times that a cop has asked me, can I have your card? Like, are you hiring? Like, the police officers, they look up to us. They all want to work for us. It's funny. I used to work with a guy. I had to train a guy on the Saved by the Bell, the college years. The other two agents, law enforcement, got fired, and I had to train a guy. And he's like, I don't even want to do this job. He's like, I'm just here because I'm trying to get on the list for the Spielbergs. I just was like, dude, like, they don't even know you yet. Like, you know how many people they have on the 5150 side of the company? Like, you're trying to get on the list so that you can say you work for the Spielbergs. Like, dude, like, if you might as well just quit now because, the waiting list is like 10 years out. Like, you know, if that's why you're here, you're at the wrong company. And they're like, yeah, but if you work for this company, you can get in with the Spielbergs. And I'm like, no, you can't. And they're like, well, have you ever been there? Yeah, about 200 times. Like, and I'm telling you, that's not the way it works. So even cops, it's so funny. Remind me someday to tell you the case about a Major League Baseball player who was actually a Dodger. And I had to have a meeting with the feds and explain to them, well, retired feds, why they couldn't work that case or they were going to get sued and their insurance wasn't going to cover them because they were knowingly doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And it's really hard when you're a woman to have to sit down with a man who has a stellar law enforcement career and is retired and was a top special agent of the Drug Enforcement Agency or the FBI or the Secret Service or the CIA and say, but you can't do this. And here's why. And then you have to go get the code somewhere and email it or fax them the code. Like, this is the code. And, would you like to lose your house? You're a retired federal agent with a big pension. You're getting 75% of your salary without taxes. Like, you might lose that house on Manhattan Beach. You might lose your business. Are your cars paid for? Because they'll take those too. Do you have any bank accounts? Do you have any investments? How many millions does your policy cover? Because it's not going to matter. It's just like, and you don't want to make people feel stupid. You have to be really nice and professional. Michelle, I am on the subject of Nancy Guthrie and my call today to the FBI. Katniss or Cap in USA, Hollywood's a whole different beast. Absolutely. Don't talk about people behind back. Not ever going to name names. I'm just saying, like, I've seen it all. And today, we're very careful what we say here, Michelle, just so you know. Nobody's a suspect. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Everything is alleged. Everything is speculative. But what happened today with the FBI, that is not speculative. That is not alleged. This is what happened today. And I didn't record the conversation because I would have had to ask two-party permission in my state. If their help techs are anything like their special agents that are investigating this, then the case will never be solved. Hopefully, the special agents that are in charge, because it has to be a special agent in charge, and then they'll put the agents out there, basically the people on foot, the boots on the ground, so to speak. But if they are as closed-minded and rude and argumentative and lazy as this one person that answered my call, this will never be solved. I can't wait for it to be solved, and I can't wait for them to say that this person, and this person was involved, because I'm going to come forward and then try to claim my reward. And I know somebody who knows Savannah Guthrie. I could make one phone call and say, hey, it's me. And I turned in a tip to the tip line. And now this person has been arrested and, nobody's calling me back. And I can prove it in my phone records. I can prove it in this live. So I hope everybody's happy. I'm kind of PO'd right now, but I did do what I thought in my heart was the right thing to do. I called my tip into the FBI. And I'm not saying that I'm correct on this because we don't know, the public, we don't know all the pieces of the puzzle, and I'm not working in this case. But at least it'll be off my conscience. U.S. people should talk about Epstein files. You'll find answers about war with Iran. Possible, but we're not talking about that today. Oh, hi, Leanne. Well, you called. Okay, awesome. I'm trying to catch up. Yeah, you can always watch it on the playback. Let's see. And you know what? Since I did my live yesterday, you wouldn't believe the amount of comments and messages that I have received agreeing with everything that I said, and people like patting me on the back because of how I said it. Like I'm not attacking the guy, you know. I'm not even, to the point where I wouldn't watch a video of his again. No, I called the FBI, Kelly. I don't think she's saying that she called. She just came in, Kelly. So yeah, like people were saying they liked the way I handled that, and I wouldn't mind meeting the guy, from yesterday's video that we talked about. I think he's done a pretty good job. I just wouldn't become close personal friends with the person based on their background. People don't change for the most part. People are usually never rehabbed. Oh, okay. Leanne, did you call the FBI? Kelly wants to know. I might have missed something in the chat, Kelly. I apologize if I missed something. But I did call the FBI today. And then I decided, you know what, let's just walk away from this and let's go down and pick up a prescription at the pharmacy. And you know what? There's something showing up on my chat on the computer that's not showing up on my chat on the phone. So obviously YouTube is having an issue. And I need to put somebody in a timeout immediately. I apologize, people, if you've been seeing those messages. Zato1299, you are out of here, buddy. I was not getting those messages on my screen. I just looked up at the live chat on the computer once again. Let me reset the chat filter again. Zato is in a timeout. Whether I agree with what he is saying or I don't agree. We're not getting political. We're not talking about that here today. Yeah, on my phone, I didn't see the messages at all. I just looked up on the live chat on the computer, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just said, you're out of here. Please, everybody, be respectful. We're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, specifically today, her still being missing after day number 52, and my unfruitful tip when I called 1-800-CALL-FBI. And I tell you guys that all the time. If you have anything, call 1-800-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. You might not want to waste your time unless you know where the body is. Hey, Kermudge. You'll have to go back and see this. Finally back home. Yeah, you mentioned yesterday you were driving. And I thought about that after the video. And I was like, driving? Like, oh, you must have gone into town. It's in the 80s here. Oh, you're asking Kermudge. Sorry, I didn't see that. I just saw, what's the town? Yeah, did you go into town to like do a mail run? Did you drive into Anchorage, do some shopping? Did you get any Amazon packages? Did you get something good? 25. Wow. Do you get tired of that at this time of the year now that the spring has come? Another idiot. I'm cooking and listening, trying to cook anyway. Oh, okay. I avoid Anchorage like the plague. We go to Wasilla. Yeah, look, I like Wasilla. I've never been there, but I've been following all these Alaska YouTubers. So I guess you would have taken the train into the town that's close to you. I won't name that here for your security, and you picked up your truck, and then you drove into Wasilla. Oh, you went to get your taxes done. Make sure you claim all that YouTube income. Because unlike myself, Curmudge is a professional here. And I know it's not your primary source, but he's done rather well. Okay. He said that he went into Talkeetna. Yeah, that seems like a fun little town to visit. Oh, YouTube is the only income you have right now? Oh, I thought maybe you had your retirement or whatever, but you're kind of young to be retired. Oh, aside from investments, okay. Wow, you're doing great. If you're not watching this guy, go watch my friend Rob and his lovely wife Sarah at Curmudge in Alaska. Oh, you have years before you collect retirement. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I don't get any retirement. I just have my cancer disability. That's it. That's why if I could get this monetized, it would really help. And Curmudge, you're not going to believe this, especially since I was monetized before and then I lost it. But in the end, that might be a blessing in disguise that I had to basically start over again without restarting the channel. You know how they're 5 days behind in reporting the hours, and for every day they report, they take the last day off. As of last night, and that was, they have updated it through March the 19th, I'm at 3,839 valid public watch hours. So technically, I only have 161 to go, but that doesn't include a few they'll take off because I watched the video, and a few that they'll take off on the back end. So depending on what happened 365 days ago, I can't really, I can look at what my hours were on a certain date, but I don't know what they're taking off on the back end. So by midnight tonight, there's a very, very good chance that I'm going to hit that 4K. And if I do, hopefully I'll be able to click the reapply tab, because even though it's been over a week, they have never sent me the ability to do the mini remonetization. But I thought, well, at least I could have that for a week until this all gets worked out. But apparently not. But you know what? It's no guarantee. Curmudge says to Kelly, we have a few cabins. We rent them out from time to time. Right now, we are only having friends and family come up as the main house took damage in an earthquake. I will be fixing it soon. Yes, I remember that on Thanksgiving Day. I heard that, Country Roads. So Nancy left her back door unlocked all the time, they say. Hi, April. Hi, Country Roads. I've heard that too. And the police have never been specific on the alleged forced entry, which everybody just assumed might have been in the rear since the screen door was fine. Somebody opened that screen door from the inside. Ah, Curmudge, that's so funny. The white beard makes me look older than I am. Oh, that's so funny. I will also be building a few small cabins over the next few years. Yes, but don't overdo it, Curmudge. Oh, me too, Kelly. But you know what? If I wasn't 2 miles or less from a hospital that has a cardiologist, I'd be screwed. I wouldn't be able to wait for the helicopter to come land and pick me up and take me into Anchorage. in Anchorage, quite frankly, they don't have that many specialists. So I know somebody from high school. I think you know her too, Deb, that lives up there. And, if they need a surgery or something, they have to go to Seattle or even to Honolulu. Kind of scary to think that a little teeny island in the middle of the ocean has more specialists, surgical specialists, than, a city of Anchorage that's over 300,000 people. And I guess it's close to 1 million people in the general area there, in the Anchorage metropolitan area, but there's a lot of specialists they don't even have. Oh, hi, Kelly. Allie, I just mentioned you because I have my mod here. If you Kellys want to meet each other, Kelly Ray is the mod. And then there's Kellyanne Sullivan, who's one of my top fans. And now I have welcomed Kelly Allie. I saw your comment on one of my videos. So we have Kelly number 1, Kelly number 2, and Kelly number 3. Oh, there's a lot more money on the island than here in Alaska. Okay. Yeah, I heard that, Karen. Oh, welcome in. She's one of my other mods, everybody. Say hello to Karen. I almost emailed. Oh, I have 2 mods. I have Karen Unz and then Hearts. Her name is Karen. I hope that's okay to say that, Karen. She says, I almost emailed you today, April. County meeting had people talking about getting rid of Nano. Citizens complaining. Yes. But they'd have to do some kind of a recall since he's an elected official, I believe. I don't know if they could just outright fire him without an official recall. So yeah, if you're just coming in, I talked about how I finally I dropped that dime today on the FBI, which means I made a phone call. And I called the 1-800 call FBI tip line with very disappointing results. You're mostly speaking to AI, then the rep comes on. They're very rude, very argumentative. The call's not being recorded. I wasn't allowed to say 90% of what I wanted to say. Oh, that's good, Karen. They should. So if you guys want to hit this video on the playback, that's what the beginning of the video is about. So I decided just to walk away from this for a few minutes, and I went over to my local pharmacy, and there's a major problem with one of my prescriptions, and it may not be straightened out for a couple more days, and it's one of my heart arrhythmia medications, and without it, I could be gone. So I'm a little stressed. So if I seem a little off right now, it's just I'm been dealing with this issues, or all these medical issues since 2016, and it is now March 2026. This needs to be behind me. But the good news is, and let me cover up the address, because sometimes I've been stupid and I've showed my location, and I trust most of you, but there's some yahoos that we have to continually put in timeout. I don't want those people to see my address. You can always send me something at the business address, but look what I got today. Mail from the Cleveland Guardians. And what is so funny, out of the 4 teams that I've heard from, only one has used the self-addressed stamp envelope. That's just the business address, but there is a stamp. They sent it back. And I guess they sent it back because they wanted to send me a card. And the card, let's see if I can get it out of the envelope. It was like Christmas card size. And unlike the form letter that I got from the Rangers and the White Sox, they actually filled out a card, as did the Minnesota Twins. And somebody actually hand wrote it. They actually wrote me a message. And it's funny, they could have just sent the self-addressed stamped envelope, with a sticker or a baseball card from the Guardians. Just some little knick-knack that would fit in the envelope. And instead, it's still baseball related, but I got a pack of Topps cards. Now, this has got nothing to do with Cleveland. It's just some random cards that are still sealed in the pack, which I'm not complaining, but other than the card with the C for Cleveland, you wouldn't even know like this was from the Indians. Well, it's actually the Guardians now, but I still like to call them the Indians. Yeah. I just found that comical. And I know on yesterday's live, I don't know if you guys caught it, but I was wearing my Minnesota Twins jersey. I love that. I have to say, out of the Rangers, I like the Rangers because they were the first to respond, but the Twins actually took money out of their own pocket, even though I offered to reimburse shipping, and they sent me that jersey and a card. And then the White Sox, that was like, the bottom end of the barrel because they're almost bankrupt. But still, I loved it, especially that little keychain they sent me with Southpaw. But I just found this kind of comical that they just sent me some baseball cards that have nothing to do with their team. And this week, the season does start, so the regular staff will start coming back to the stadium if they're not there already. And then maybe I can, I'll get a few more responses. We'll see. Hearts of Gold says, lots going on with Mom's estate. Yeah, I know that's a lot. Oh, no problem, Hearts. I was just mentioning that I have 2 Karens here, and I have 3 Kellys here. This is crazy. But, and there was a viewer, and maybe Kelly would remember. She came out and identified herself in one of the videos. I think it was Dance B Skater or B Dance Skater. Something. Do you remember who it was who came out and said they had used my whatnot code? And that was before Sant 1982, who said it's okay to talk about or use my whatnot code. But that Dance something Skater person, and she said she's on her husband's YouTube channel about B Dance Skater. Okay. Was it her that said, somebody that's regular in here came out and said, oh, that was me that signed up for your whatnot. And I got like the $5 credit not to spend or not to have in my account, like cash money to transfer to my bank account, but they give you $5 spending money. You might be interested in this, Kermudge and Karen. I don't think you can see it here. It's very hard to see. You won't be able to see it with the ring light. But in there's a little teeny tiny piece of gold that is fish-shaped, and this person calls it fishy. I can't remember the guy. He was a very brand new whatnotter. I was in his first show, and it's only 0.023 grams, which is only worth like, $3 and change. But it's a flake, and it's in, well, I just can't, because it's in this little case, and it's good that it is in this little coin holder, or I'd probably drop it. It's in the exact shape of a fish. Now, I had to pay the tax and the shipping because I only had the $5 credit. So thank you. If it was you, Dance B Skater or B Dance Skater, whoever signed up to whatnot, remind me. Thank you. That came in the mail, as did today my return self-addressed stamped envelope, which they didn't use. I did get my mail from the Cleveland Guardians. If you guys have been following me, you'll see that I'm doing a little experiment this year with Major League Baseball. The good JR Investigator says, it is a goldfish, Karen. JR Investigator says the court date is next month, they say. Okay, the court date for what? Oh, okay, I missed your first message. What do you think about the JLR investigates and his ex-girlfriend? Well, you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I know I saved it too. At least I thought I did. I have so much paper on my desk from this case, but I found the court case, and it is in Arkansas, which, makes sense since this woman is in Arkansas. but I actually found the court case online and I had the case number. Oh, I know. I saved it to my desktop. I have a file. And, 5 of the documents got saved. There were 7. I have the ex parte order of protection that was hand-filled out by Jamie, the ex-girlfriend. I have the petition for order of protection. Can't even speak here. I have an order for a continuance. It was continued to April 21st, 2026 at 9:30. It will be held at the Garland County District Courtroom 2, located in the Garland County District Courts building at 607 Ouachita Avenue, Ouachita, Ouachita, in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So if anybody's in Hot Springs or Hot Springs, Arkansas on April 21st at 9:30 Central Time, if they decide to have open court, you can go to the hearing. And it's in the Circuit Court of Garland County, Arkansas Domestic Relations Division. And the case number is 26DR, which stands for Domestic Relations -26-51 Roman numeral 2. So yeah, we will see. We'll see what happens. Because I know she served him, well, the sheriff served him in Florida for the TRO. But apparently there has to be, I know there was already one hearing and they said she received the domestic violence restraining order, but maybe she didn't receive that yet because they have to give him a chance to show up. But okay, at the first hearing that he went to, I guess that's why he left Arizona, because he needed to go to a hearing. I'm not sure. I was going through all this last night when I was really tired, because they had a hearing reset for March 17th. That's why, because he left just before March 7th. He left like maybe the day before, and then that hearing, he has an attorney now, so they probably postponed that hearing. That's what happened. So maybe she still just has the TLO rather than the actual restraining order, because they have to redo the hearing on April 21st in Arkansas. And they served Jonathan Lee Rich's JLR Investigates. And I actually have his address, but I won't say it. Everybody knows that he lives in Florida, in the Tampa area. I have his address, but I won't say it. And her address, she petitioned the court to keep her address confidential, but I think I saw it somewhere. He's described as brown eyes and bald, 5'11", 290 or 190 pounds, excuse me, male, white. I also have his birth date here. I won't give out that type of ID. So the original hearing was supposed to be February 17th, and it's been postponed. And she describes him as a former domestic partner. I don't know anything about her, but she's got what the press describes as a colorful past. Yes, the incident did happen. You're right, in the state of Washington. And that's why I questioned where it was going to be, because it was the state of Washington who got the arrest warrant for him. But when they went to hook him up in Washington, he had already left the state. But supposedly they haven't filed an outstanding warrant because he hadn't been charged with anything yet, and they're apparently not pursuing the arrest warrant out of state. But he lived or lives currently in Florida. The alleged incidents occurred in the state of Washington, and but she is now living in Arkansas, and so she filed this case in Arkansas, in Garland County Circuit Court. So that's why he has to, if he makes an appearance, he would have to make an appearance in Arkansas. They were supposed to go to Leavenworth, Washington, and I guess this is where the incident happened, but she might have filed something in Arkansas. Yes, she did. The only thing that happened in Washington is that she made a police report. They got an arrest warrant, and by the time they went to use it, he had already left town. Which there's, I guess he knew trouble was coming. But it's not like he, ran from a warrant. He left before they could serve the arrest warrant. But it's one of these cases, he said, she said. And the case title is Jamie T. Phillips, which is Jamie Tennille Phillips versus Jonathan L. Riches. And this other case number says 26DR-26-51. That's the shortened version of the case number. Yeah. Yeah, we got a little off topic here because this is basically about Nancy Guthrie. But yeah, this is the guy we were talking about yesterday, Jonathan Lee Riches. Well, it all made sense because I was following them and I knew they went to Leavenworth, Washington in December, and then all of a sudden she just disappeared. Didn't know where she was. Okay, yeah. I thought I saw her address here somewhere too, but I'm not going to say it. I think only out of the 7 documents that I tried to download, only 5 of them showed up, but I did this really late last night, and I was really tired, and she since filed a petition with the court to keep her address private. But I thought I'd seen it somewhere, but I don't give out addresses or DOBs on anybody. And it's public knowledge because he talks about that he was asked multiple times during the short time that I watched him on his lives where people had asked, where was he coming in from? And he said that he lived in the Tampa, Florida area, which apparently he does. And she did make a statement in her affidavit. And even though we were talking about Nancy, I can tell you what that she hand wrote it in her statement in the affidavit for the order of protection states beginning January 2023 and continuing through December 2025. I was involved in an intimate domestic relationship with the respondent, Jonathan Lee Riches. During the course of this relationship, the respondent engaged in a persistent and escalating pattern of domestic abuse, coercive control, intimidation, financial exploitation, and physical violence towards me. On 12/25/25, Christmas, in parentheses, the respondent violently assaulted me, causing extreme injuries, including broken nose plus septum, significant trauma to my head and ribs, requiring emergency care, CT scans, x-rays, and will require reconstructive surgery to repair broken and crushed bones in my nose. This assault is currently pending felony assault charges, threats to kill with the threats to kill, and then something scratched out, with the chief criminal deputy prosecutor in Shallon, did we figure out that word? Was Shallon County, Washington. State case number 25C12789, police report attached. And of course, that is not attached online because those are sealed in criminal filings. Throughout the relationship, the respondent physically assaulted me. Well, this is actually a civil filing, but police report attached. They always seal that in the file. Throughout the relationship, the respondent physically assaulted me on numerous occasions, including strangulation approximately 24 times. In August 2025, respondent committed a brutal assault against me involving beating me repeatedly with his closed fist. Respondent threatened to kill me if I reported. And I just lost the page. His assaults, or if I called 911. Since the 12/25/25 felony assault, respondent has continued to abuse me using fear, threats, intimidation, enjoying or ongoing financial abuse, theft of all of our joint funds. Now listen to this. Theft of all of our joint funds in an act of retaliation. So apparently he fled, allegedly, with the money. Their money. Respondent fled the crime scene, fled the jurisdiction, and remains a flight risk. I think that's kind of funny. He has continued to contact me, and I am in fear of immediate harm and death. and she signs as the petitioner. She dated this 1/20/26, and it was stamped in Garland County Court by a notary public. That was notarized by Amelia Pretty of Garland County, and she is described as Jamie Phillips, 49 years old, female, white, former domestic intimate partner of respondent Jonathan Lee Riches, also 49, gender male, ethnicity white, as of 1/20/26. So there we go. Hello, friend. Cry Red, I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, let's see what JR investigator said. See, he's had a lot of trouble in the past. He was in prison, con artist, scamming people, taking money from him. Yeah, we talked about that in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen that, JR investigator, I think you have, because I think you commented. But just in case you haven't, watch yesterday's live. But did you hear the story when he was down in Arizona about the pizza delivery? No, I didn't. There was some sort of story, and I didn't quite understand it all when he was down in Arizona about the pizza delivery. They delivered pizzas to Nancy's house. I know she did have some deliveries, or her house had some deliveries. And I know in the sheriff down there, he was getting tired of all the YouTubers, especially him, and he told them all to go home. Yeah. Who is this on? Oh, this is just the domestic restraining order request by the ex-girlfriend, well, the alleged ex-girlfriend, domestic partner of JLR Investigates, Jonathan Lee Riches. Yeah, Kelly, thank you for that advice. She says start from the beginning after this is over. Lots of info. Google JLR Investigates. I did from day one. And I knew about his massive amount of civil lawsuits, his being a professional plaintiff, and I knew about his federal prison incarceration. Yes, we are live now, Jay. Oh, hey, Anthony, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing there, friend? Thank you, Cry Red. I will. Yeah, catch up. No, I'm kidding. Like, yeah, you can watch yesterday's video. That was about JLR Investigates Jonathan Lee Riches. And today I came on the air because I took you guys' advice and a friend's advice, and I made a call to the FBI. I called 1-800-CALL-FBI, and for very disappointing response from them. Walked out of the house thinking this will never be solved. And then I left to just go take a break, take a breather, went to the pharmacy, and I think my blood pressure probably spiked to like 200 or something. I mean, I don't know that it did because I'm on a crap ton of meds, but it didn't go well. But then I came home, and just to make me feel better, I got mail from the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah, I'm hiding my address, but here's the envelope. Came today. Just kind of perked me up. But I got to get ready for the Dodger game. Today is the last spring training game, and they're already back in LA. Yes. And for those people that follow baseball, do you realize the season starts tomorrow with only two teams, the Yankees and the Giants, playing here in California, and it's only on Netflix. That's never happened before in the history of Major League Baseball. So if you don't have Netflix, like I only had it for a month to see my friend's daughter's show. There's so much to talk about with that, but I can't. I'm going to have to subscribe again to that if I want to see the Yankees and the Giants. But it'll be a real game. And then Thursday, the rest of the season will start. And hopefully, even though I won't be able to go to the game, there'll be the flyby because it's opening day at Dodger Stadium. And we'll have we'll have some really awesome military things up in the air. And sometimes they come right over my house. So like New Year's Day when the B-2 stealth bomber just started circling my building, and the building was literally shaking. And that's how I had my most recent fall, because I ran outside without my cane and tried to run up the stairs with my cell phone to see over the top of the building, and I tripped and fell the day before surgery and they noticed me being wheeled into surgery that I was all banged up, and I'm like, oh, I tripped trying to chase the stealth bomber. So anyway, gotta run, says Karen. Dinner. See you later. Yes. Thank you, honey, for coming in. Thanks for modding. Hearts, you're still here. Yeah, the FBI response, you'll have to go to the beginning, but yeah. I know, Cry Red. I like the Mariners. I really like the Mariners. Especially, with some of the Japanese players they've had in the past. And I remember one of the Boone boys playing for the Mariners. And Ken Griffey Jr. And Ichiro, who until Ohtani came along, he was like my favorite player. I think he opened the doors for all these Japanese baseball players to come over. And, I'm looking forward to receiving more mail, but the one that I'm really looking forward to the most is the Dodgers. Oh, you like the team or you like the city, Kelly? Ichiro, yes. You're old. Me too. Another YouTuber did a video about JLR yesterday. Send me the link, Kermudge. What good is the FBI? You'll have to check this video out and see how it went. It didn't go well. And it made me sad because it made me think that maybe the case won't be solved now because of the people that are answering their helplines or anything like their agents, or if their agents are like the people answering the tip line, I should say, it's not going well. Now I understand why it's been 52 days. Cry Red says, I've lived in Seattle since 1975. Wow, awesome. Oh, I see your link, Kermudge, but if you don't mind, could you just send that to my text or email so that I could, because I won't be able to see the chat for several days. Remember that video I told you that wouldn't load? It took like 10 days for the chat to come back. It kept saying that it was processing to HD. Yep, baseball is here. We have our last game, and I don't expect any of the big players to be playing tonight because they don't want to risk anything before tomorrow. Although I think Yamamoto, no, he's starting the season. Who was going to pitch tonight? Was it Shohei and have their last warm up? We'll have to see. I don't expect them to go far. Yeah, if you can the email is aprildavispi@gmail.com, or you have the availability to text Kermudge, then I can see that video. And for the person that told me to watch that video on Mark the Shark, they all look the same. And if I don't know the date that they actually made that video, he's got thousands of hours of video. There's no way for me to figure out which one it is. So I never got to see the cops going up to the house on top of the cul-de-sac. Oh, thank you, Kermudge. Let me go over to the Google here and go to the Gmail. Yeah, the Gmail, everybody, for this channel is aprildavispi. Okay, I got it. Kermudge. Thank you. Appreciate that. Jay says, lived about a half hour from Whiteman Air Force Base growing up. Used to see flyovers every once in a while. Yeah, that's cool. I watched part of it. JR Investigator asked, did I watch the World Baseball Classic? I watched part of it that I could see. But then I was on a YouTube when they had the final, and I didn't get to see like that last half inning. Many other countries are good at baseball. Yes, they are. It's huge in Japan, and it's a totally different experience over there. I mean, it's more about the show at the stadium than the actual game because they have so many interactive events that occur with the audience, and they have acts in between innings, and it's like a big thing. Kelly says, April and I both lived in Mobile at one point. We occasionally saw Blue Angels flying over. I saw the Thunderbirds in Mobile, but sadly, I never saw the Blue Angels, and they were in Pensacola. A heart says we have the Blue Angels visit often in Maine. I would have thought that we would have been able to see that, considering that my dad did all of his contracts for the Navy, but nope. I, grew up getting to go onto warships. JR investigator, that might be why we have so many missing people and kids. What's good of all their stuff that they're not doing their job. Oh, most people in my industry don't know how to do their job. Amazing how close they flew. I know. And when you're going at that speed, one error and you're dead. It's over. No, I didn't get to see the Blue Angels, Kelly. I wish. I was in Pensacola plenty of times. I mean, going from Mobile to Pensacola or going from Mobile to the Florida border was like people in LA going over to Disneyland. It's almost that close. Oh, you had bad eyes. Okay. Yeah, I had bad eyes too since the second grade, and that's why I couldn't go into law enforcement. But then, I would have never learned everything that I learned about the world being a PI. But I don't want that to sound like, oh, I know it more than a cop, because everybody out there has their own thing. I saw them a bunch. Guess I live closer to the airport where they practice before big events. Yeah, I didn't ever see them. But I did see the Thunderbirds there. That was great. I was really little, though. I remember climbing a ladder going up towards the cockpit of one of the fighter jets. There are many, many YouTubers now that are following the story about JLR Investigates. Isn't it ironic that there's two people that I've been watching? I watched him a little bit, and there's another guy that's in Ecuador. He's funny. He's a convicted felon, a former drug addict, bank robber, and he talks about he's a much more hardened type of criminal than JLR, who's committed fraud and things like that. But a felon is a felon, and he's a recovered drug addict, and his channel and JLR's channel is probably making the most of all these YouTubers that are reporting on this, besides the mainstream streamers like Brian It and Ashley Banfield, Nancy Grace, Megan Kelly, but just for being a YouTuber. And these are long-term convicted felons, and they're making bank. JLR in a month is making more than I make in a year on my Social Security disability. And this series has cost me about $60 in Amazon stuff that I had to replace as just temporary equipment. And I've been sent a total of $14 in donations, which I'm thrilled. I'm like, oh my God, $1, $5, that's great. Oh wow, like look, the Cleveland, Guardians, yay, even though that has nothing to do with this. But I just want to make enough. I want to get remonetized to be able to pay myself back for all my channel expenses. That's it. Oh, hi. Is it Ram or Ram? To 2026. I am from India. Welcome in, India. I guess, it's like if I just did a YouTube video about, oh, look at this pretty beach, versus someone else who does a video that says, look at this plane crash or this train wreck. People want to watch the plane crash or the train wreck. And even though true crime videos do very well, they don't do well with RPM. They don't do well. They do okay with RPM, revenue per mil. They say you better be big enough to be getting, you won't get paid promotions as much because they don't like to sponsor advertisers don't even like to sponsor true crime and don't show anything gory, or they'll not put your video out as much. So people are interested in it, but you can make a lot less money than other categories. And I'm not, like I said, I haven't made a dime. For this series, I'm minus like 60 and change. For the last 6 years, probably $5 or $6 grand on all my expenses for this, which is normally wouldn't be a lot of money, but in my position, it's like that would buy me groceries, for like a year or more. So hopefully I can get this monetization thing straightened out soon. I'll probably hit the right number of hours at midnight tonight, I'm thinking, but then I have to have the ability to reapply, and then I will wait 48 hours to 30 days, and I'd say there's a 50-50 chance that it goes thumbs up. JR Investigator says, yeah, that's true, because one day I videotaped a parade and I thought nobody would watch it, and I had thousands and thousands of viewers. Oh, wow. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. He says, are you a he or a she, JR Investigator? And another thing people like, and it's big to do, is these protests and these marches. I actually did a march. It was small, but I did a march with Soleil Moonfry and her children. And some celebrities showed up, her ex-husband, Jason Goldberg, David Arquette, and my GoPro failed me when I had the best part of my video where I was talking with David Arquette. And so it's on my YouTube channel, but you won't see David Arquette in it. I mean, you might see him in the background, but you won't see him and I talking. But yeah, and it didn't blow up at all. I guess nobody cares about little Punky Brewster anymore. That's sad. She's really nice and her kids are wonderful. JR Investigator, what would be good is if you could be at some of the celebrity parties and gatherings that would bring the people in. I wouldn't do that. Couldn't do it. Ram, I like and do you like and subscribe? Thank you, Ram. I appreciate that. It means a lot. The good JR Investigator, at one time he used to be able to go to the Oscars and your name was put in a lottery and you could sit outside in the bleachers. It was quite a deal. Yes, that's true. That's right down, that's like 6 minutes from my house. And I've worked for many companies that have worked the Oscars, so it would just be a real pain in the butt for me. It would just be like work. And I'm mostly retired now. My GoPro never listens to me. Yeah. If I could upgrade my phone, I might just sell my GoPro, to tell you the truth. Just put all the equipment onto eBay. Hearts of Gold, GoPro record, GoPro stop, and it records my pocket from the whole day. Yep. The best footage was David Arquette, and that it was in my March. So yeah, I do have a March, and it was hard because I was still recovering from my cancer treatment. And luckily, Soleil had gone into the drugstore and she bought a big case of water for everybody. Because now I couldn't even do that. Can you imagine with my cane walking around in March, and we were running up and down Ventura Boulevard? It was really physically, it took a lot out of me to do that. It was her oldest daughter. What is her name? Poet Sienna Rose, who organized it. Oh, you're a he. Okay, I thought so. Yep. And what is that camera, Kermudge? It's something 360. I think they're probably pretty expensive. What is it called again, Kermudge? Oh, your daughter was involved in several protests regarding Roe versus Wade. Well, good for her. Hey, Melissa from Australia. Good day, mate. Oh, on the University of Alabama campus. Great. Well, I assume you mean UA. Oh, the Insta360 ×4 and the Insta360 Ace Pro. Hey, Kelly, can you write that down? Or Kermudge, can you email me that too? I would have to have a lot of income from this to be able to invest in that. If I could just upgrade my phone, that would help a lot. Sure, go ahead, JR. He says, well, I want to ask you a question about Nancy, since you're talking about her tonight. Yes, we are supposed to be talking about Nancy, but, we always get off subject here, but that's okay. And good day, mate, back to you. Thank you for the good day, April. Melissa? Yes, the general is still missing. And I know a little bit about what that case is about because he did a lot of things that had to do with UFOs, and one of his former coworkers has also disappeared, a female. For what you do, the Ace Pro would be perfect. Okay. Thank you, Curmudge. Do you think it's somebody that knows Nancy, or do you think it was a random, I want a lot of money, or I want a lot of... Oh, you watch a lot of these crime shows. I assume you meant, 48 hours. Well, it's either revenge or money. And it could be somebody that knows Nancy. Or it could be somebody that's targeting her because she is the daughter of Savannah Guthrie. And it could be much deeper and bigger if you go down the rabbit holes. And I don't know if people are aware of this, but the Tucson area has always been a rough area. A lot of drugs, a lot of kidnappings. I've heard that. They've had a lot of home robberies, yes. But this was definitely not a robbery in this particular case. That's very possible, Hearts. I didn't want to say that, but yes, I still think political. I got a little suspicious when Trump, who hates Savannah Guthrie, offered to help so quickly. Don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth, but we're not going to go political here. JR says they had a case on 48 Hours, and they were talking about it in 1992, and it was in Tucson about how this girl and the mother killed the father, and it was quite a deal. Oh, I didn't see that. Any news on Nancy's neighbor not talking still? No. And I was never able to find that video segment from Mark the Shark, because if anybody wants to send me the date of that video or send me a link, please send me the link, the Mark the Shark video, because there's thousands of hours to go through and I just don't know which one it is. And also in Tucson, they have this program that is just wrapped up called Desert Law that was filmed last year about Pima County on A&E. Oh, I heard that the sheriff was actually in the reality TV show on the A&E network. I heard that. I think this whole thing is a setup. Either the family was involved or someone close. Very possible, Kellyanne Sullivan. Nobody is not a suspect in my mind. Somebody's from the University of Alabama. The good JR investigator, because they have that big breaking news story of one of the students that went to Spain and they found him dead. Yeah, I heard about that, but I don't know a lot about that because I've been so busy with Nancy Guthrie, and then I did a couple of videos on the Duggar case, the most recent Duggar case involving Joseph. The ransom is still not claimed. Of course not. They have no proof of life. And I'm still not convinced it's even a legit kidnapping. JR investigator, yeah, that student from the University of Alabama was murdered. Oh, okay. That's what I think down in Spain. They were all there for spring break. Pretty dangerous. Yeah, Natalie, Natalie Holloway, when she went to Aruba, she was from the state of Alabama, and she was there on a spring break. Oh, I didn't know the guy in Spain was from UA Tuscaloosa. I didn't know that. Wow, that's two people from Alabama that went to foreign countries on spring break and didn't come home. Now you're saying Birmingham? Okay. Yeah, for Natalie. Oh, she went to UA Birmingham? Yeah, I know she lived in like a suburb of Birmingham. I think the same suburb that actress Courtney Cox was raised in. Do I think Tomato's house is bugged? No. I mean, possibly, but I doubt it. I mean, hell, the FBI can't even have the proper people working their tip line. How are they going to do something that sophisticated? Very much doubt it. That's more of a mafia type of thing than a law enforcement type of deal. Just my opinion. Anything is possible. Yeah, apparently the reason it took so long for Annie's car to be returned is because they stripped it down so much they had to send it to like a special mechanic shop or something, or a body shop to have it put back together. Well, you just have a lot on your plate, Heart. She says, God, I am an airhead looking all over for my phone. I do that too. They need to cross him off the list. Who? Tommaso? It was right by your side. Yep. It's one of those days. I can be looking for my sunglasses and they're sitting on top of my head. Oh, tomato. Tomato, tomato, Tommaso. That's funny. Tomato. I like that. Well, the sheriff has crossed him off the list, apparently. But I don't cross anybody off the list until we know what's really going on here. What do you talk about in this channel? I talk about, right now I'm working some true crime series. But my channel has something for everybody. I wonder if Annie and Tommaso will get a divorce. Don't know. Depends on what all comes out with this. Yes, I am a PI, Kelly. I'm a licensed private investigator in California. Been in the PI industry since February 24th, 1984, starting in Beverly Hills, and was licensed August 6, 1992. I am from Los Angeles, California. Yes, I am a PI. I'm the real deal. And I'm not working the Nancy Guthrie case. I'm mostly retired now due to medical disabilities. No, I've never shot anybody, killed anybody. I've never had somebody shoot at me, but I have had to do statements at gunpoint where it was pointed at me, and I have had somebody try to kill me 1 block from Beverly Hills. Actually, Beverly Hills is on one side and LA is on the other side, right down Olympic and over in West LA. And yeah, somebody tried to kill me. I've had a few very close calls. And no, I don't really spend very much time following cheating spouses. Everybody always thinks that. Do you think the Russians have the general? I don't know. Because I don't know enough about the case. Just that this general disappeared. And somebody that he worked with has also disappeared in, I guess, the past year. Oh, you're not seeing the whole chat? That can be a YouTube issue. In fact, I closed this out to look for Curmudge's email. Well, let me go back on this main screen here. And I'll click live and I'll click this video. And I'll reboot the live chat because there were messages earlier that I had to put somebody on timeout and they weren't even coming across my screen. Make sure that when you're watching live that your chat is set to live chat, and that should help. Maybe it has something to do with the UFOs. It's possible. especially with disclosure allegedly being near. Let me go out and back in. Yeah, make sure you click live chat, because in your chat, it'll set you to top chat, and you need to set your chat to live chat. Yeah, I really don't know enough about that case to comment on. I know somebody from South Carolina comes in here a lot, and they were asking me about a case there and sending me information, but I can't help them because I don't know anything that's going on in South Carolina. Okay. Much love to you, hearts. Hang in there. And I appreciate you every single day. Thank you so much. The work colleague had patents to special metals. Oh, interesting. Kind of like some of the people on MH370 that had patents that were going to China. Did I follow the story in Utah of that woman that murdered her husband or poisoned him? No. The only thing I followed in Utah was the Elizabeth Smart case. Her name was Corey. Nope. Sorry, I can't comment on it. Just don't know anything about it. The case I know the most about that I'm not actually working is JonBenet Ramsey, but I can't talk about it here. What do you think about the reality show they were supposed to air on Sunday, and they've canceled it because they found the woman assaulted? I guess it was her boyfriend, her husband. I don't know anything about that. What are my thoughts? Oh, on MH370, I have a video on that. And it's actually like a video within a video. And in part of that video, I sound like I'm kind of like talking slow and out of breath. That's because on one of the videos, I think it was the second video where I posted part of the first video, I was going through my heart situation, and I had just like had surgery or got out of the hospital or was going back and forth. So if you see any of my older videos where I seem like I'm gasping for air, that's because I was. I have several theories on MH370, and I do have some videos on that, but you have to go to the video tab, or you can go to, let me bring up my playlist, and I can't put the link in here now because I'm online, but if I go to the playlist, there is, let's see, okay, there's a playlist with 23 videos supposedly in there. Let me click view full playlist. I'm trying to remember which one I did where my heart was like, because there's one from 2 years ago. Let's see, it says missing Malaysia flight MH370 10th anniversary, the Maldives connection. Oh, that's super important. And then I did another video. It says a year ago, but it could be anywhere between 1 and 2 years. It says lost MH370 airplane search resumes. And in one of them, I'm kind of like, and I play part of that other video. And then I was thinking about doing a new one based on what's just happened with Ocean Infinity, but I haven't got around to that yet because I've just been too busy with Nancy Guthrie. That is one of the theories, Melissa, but there's been no ability to prove that theory at this point. But anything is possible. The only thing I can tell you is that they've been looking in the wrong place from the start, and that's why I knew that with this most recent search, it was going to be very sad because they weren't going to find it again, and they didn't. They just literally wrapped up a search, and now, without any potential to find it, they may just run out of money and give up because Ocean Infinity is doing this for free in hopes that they'll get a reward, and they're being fed wrong information about where the plane is. So you can't find a plane where it isn't located. There was no IPERB. I don't know what that means. The government knows? Very possible, Melissa. Anytime somebody important has tried to get involved in this, they've been shut up or taken out. It's big. It's much bigger than what we think the Nancy Guthrie case is. There's a lot more to it. And I do have my theories. But yeah, go to the playlist tab and go to planes, trains, and automobiles. And I don't remember which one it is where I'm like, when I'm talking, but it is what it is. You agree about Nancy, okay. Alarm that goes off is IPERB to help locate people more quickly. Okay. Oh, you mean like the emergency beacon? That's a radio signal? Yeah, it's hard to hear that when the batteries that are in the cockpit are 11 months expired. And there was a beacon that was picked up, and I've actually heard it before. I've heard a recording of it, and then it disappeared after 4 days. And to hear it just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up because, I mean, it could have been anything, but it was like, oh my God, there's a signal. Maybe that's the plane. But, the batteries were 11 months expired. And that's on Malaysia because that's a government-funded airline. That's a government airline. And, yeah, the equipment was expired. Or not the equipment, but the batteries that operate that equipment was expired, and they could have found it immediately. Because that beacon would have gone on for at least 30 days had the batteries not been expired. But you're underwater and there's a lot of pressure and you got expired batteries, this system's going to fail, and it failed. If the truth comes out about MH370, it would cost billions. Possible. But if you're looking for the plane in the wrong place and you're spending millions to do so, you really do want to find it, meaning Ocean Infinity, and there's been another failed mission. But there's some real funky stuff that went on involving the Maldives. You'll have to watch the videos. They're worth a watch. Those are, and I didn't have the editing software then that I do now, but still, they're decent enough where I think if you're anybody here that's interested in MH370, should watch those 2 videos. Yep, the ocean is a very big place. That's done on purpose, April. What is done on purpose? The old batteries? We'll see. Well, we probably won't. We're probably never going to know because now that Ocean Infinity has spent more millions of dollars and they got nothing. It's and the Inmarsat data may not be geographically correct. Yep, looking in the wrong place. But I don't think nobody's paying Ocean Infinity to spend their own money to go out and look in the wrong place. They're being fed misinformation. Yeah, you should go see all this. Kelly, I noticed that during the rewatching, and I appreciate you because you're my number 1 fan here. Everybody, Kelly is not just my mod, but she's my friend since junior high school, and she's my number 1 fan. I noticed it on all the rewatches. It's on all the lives, which is fine. You can watch whatever you want, or you don't have to watch it all. But there's plenty of other videos that are under the video tab. And if you want to see them by categories, you can look at the playlist. But you can just go to the live form content video, and then you don't have to be watching the same lives over and over and over and over because I don't have that many lives. And most of the lives are either old Whatnot shows or they're on Nancy Guthrie. But most of my channel is long-form content video. I saw what you sent me, didn't see all the UFO stuff. Love that. You know, my best video was on, one of my best videos was on the aliens in Las Vegas, and I took it down during this whole problem I had a year ago with YouTube. I took it down because I didn't know what video they had a problem with. And now I wish I had saved it, even if I had just downloaded it and put it on my desktop. Hey, Don, I'm doing okay. You have to see the beginning of this. I'm a little frustrated today because I called 1-800-CALL-FBI, and it didn't go well. Yes, Melissa, the more people look in the wrong place, the further away from the truth. Exactly. But you can't ignore some of the evidence that I brought up. No matter what has happened to the plane and no matter what has caused the accident, or it may not even be an accident, whatever has caused that plane to disappear, there are some things that are involve the Maldives, not necessarily tied to the Maldives government, but some things that happen the day of, and there's physical evidence to prove it, and there's over 200 statements that were written by witnesses, and there's been evidence, actual physical evidence that's come to their country, and there's also physical evidence or sound evidence that was covered through underwater radar from Curtin University in Australia. And there's just too many coincidences that are pointing to certain areas and all that they're saying, oh, none of that is true. But it doesn't mean that's where the plane went down, but it means that there's a connection, that the plane went over certain countries that are like, oh, no, we don't have anything, because they don't want the rest of the country or the rest of the world, especially their nearby neighbors, to know security-wise that they couldn't do anything. Same with Thailand, but at least Thailand came up and said, yeah, oh yeah, I flew over our airspace. Well, what did you do? Nothing. But the Maldives was like, oh, we don't have anything. And any evidence that they did get, they quickly got rid of it. Am I missing the game? Oh, no. I thought it was coming on at 6. Did that already come on, JR? Oh, my God, this is the last game. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I got to go see the game. Yes, they should emit underwater. But when the batteries are expired by almost a year, they don't last very long. Okay, everybody, good night. Give me a thumbs up. Remember, tonight at midnight my time, I may hit my hours. And if I do, I will reapply. If I get it, I'm going to have an online party, and every single one of you is invited. But we're not going to get ahead of it because there's no guarantee that I'm going to get it. Remember, they did not even send me the invitation when I hit the mini 3,000 mark. So we will see what happens. I'm going to go watch my game. I'm going to go get something to eat. But if you guys haven't seen the MH370 videos, if you haven't seen all the videos that are just on the regular video tab, go see them. The later ones are better. The earlier ones suck because I didn't know how to edit at all. I still don't know how to use OBS, so but I am getting better. Thank you, Curmudge. Hugs back to you and Sarah. Okay, everybody, have a good night, and let's pray that Nancy Guthrie will be found soon.